Aw, my cute baby Torchic. I wonder what you evolve into. Hi KFC. Can I sell this Kambuzigan to you, please? Middle evolutions in Pokemon. They suck, don't they? Like, some of them are good, but I feel like it's mainly the starter Pokemon that have the really bad middle evolutions. For example, Marshtomp, Kambuzigan, Dewott, Pignite, Quilladin, and Quaxwell. And note, I'm not forcing these opinions on any of you. It's just my opinion that these starters look absolutely horrendous. And thank goodness you spend the least amount of time with them in a lot of Pokemon games. Except in Pokemon Go. That's where you have to grind up to the 100 candies. Which is why I'll be ranking them on a tier list today. But note, this is only the Kanto tier list, not the Johto tier list, or Kalos tier list, or Hoenn tier list, or Paldean tier list. So without further ado, let's go. First off, we got our beautiful, beautiful Ivysaur right now. So Ivysaur is not a horrendous middle evolution. Its final evolution, Venusaur, I am not a fan of it, but it's not like S tier material. I will give it like an A, I guess. Next up, we have Charmeleon. I was never once a fan of Charmeleon. I just don't like his design, nor that one little like horn thing on the back of his head. Like, I know it's supposed to look like sort of a smear frame between Charmander and Charizard, but I'll give it C tier. I don't like it too much. Wartortle. Oh, yes. I love its big bushy tail. I love the wings. I just love everything about it. It's Blastoise. That ruins it. All right, our next contestant is Metapod. I like the idea of Metapod, it being like a chrysalis form between Caterpie and Butterfree, but I'm not a fan of Metapod's design in general. So, I mean, it's definitely above Charmeleon. I'll give it a B tier. Alright, so up next we have Kakuna. Technically, I have my same opinion about Metapod. I think it's cool. But this one's design is a little bit better, so it can hang out in A tier with Ivysaur. Alright, so let's talk Pidgeotto. It's definitely not as majestic as Pidgeot, but it's not as disgusting as Pidgey. And for the fact that Ash has it, I will put it in A tier with Kakuna and Ivysaur. Another contestant is Pikachu. Alright, so you're gonna hate me for this, but I'm putting it in C tier. For one thing is that it's way too overrated and I'm sick of it. And another thing is I just don't like the idea of an electric rat. Because my two favorite animals, snakes and cats, they both are predators towards rodents. And also Pikachu, I don't know, it's something about Pikachu I don't like. Nidorina is absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, shiny, beautiful design. But then we have Nidoqueen that makes it shiny, vomit green, and makes it look fat. So just because of Nidoqueen, I'm putting it in A tier instead of S. So next we got Nidorino. This is a completely different approach than Nidorina. I don't like it shiny. Like, I like the blue on Nidoking, but on Nidorian and Nidorino, the blue's just a little pale, and Nidoking makes it better, but I am putting it in C tier with Charmeleon and Pikachu. Clefairy, S tier. I love it. I love it so much. I love its little hair curl. I love its bow tail. I love its cute little smile with a fang. Everything about Clefairy is just amazing. Clefable, on the other hand, I don't like how Clefable, the little horns, like, get really big. And same thing with Cleffa. Cleffa's also adorable, but, like, this is another Pokemon that gets ruined by its final evolution. Now, you'd think I like Jigglypuff because, like, Clefairy is a cutesy fairy type Pokemon that I just put in S tier. But Jigglypuff's design in general and the big eyes, I don't like it. But I would give it C tier, But just because it was the first Pokemon I've ever heard of, I'm giving it B tier because it gave me the discovery of Pokemon and begun my obsession. Gloom, D. I think Gloom is utterly disgusting. From the drool to the fact that one time I heard in the anime or maybe in the Pokedex that it had a badly smelling flower, just the overall vibe that Gloom gives me makes me want to just throw it out in the garbage, which I think was the approach that Game Freak was taking while designing this Pokemon. But how could a cutesy oddish go to that thing? Like, that isn't an emo phase. That isn't an emo phase. Primeape. I'd give it B tier because I like its design, but I don't necessarily like the idea of a pig monkey Pokemon because I'm not a fan of pigs or primates. Primates. I almost said primates. Pokemon is taking over my brain. Next up, we have Poliwhirl. I hear a lot of people talk about how much they like Poliwhirl. I am not too big of a fan of the entire Poliwag line, but I'll give it B tier. I mean, it's not like an absolutely terrible Pokemon, but it's not the best Pokemon. Now we have Kadabra. Kadabra is my favorite of the Abra line. Abra's cute, sleeping all the time. Alakazam, mustache man with spoons. But I like the little star on its forehead and all these like little psychic designs. I'll give it A tier, like a lot of other Pokemon. Next up, we have Machoke. Machoke is the same deal with the same thing with Kadabra because like look at those little muscly lines on its arms. I like Pokemon that have like this strange pattern on their bodies. So like Kadabra, I'm giving it A tier. Next up we have Weepinbell. I am giving Weepinbell S tier because I think it is the perfect like mix between a Bellsprout and a Victreebel because this tiny little root thing evolving into this just massive, one of those weird Venus flytrap things that isn't the Venus flytrap, that like has this oily thing that traps flies in it, whatever, is like kind of a weird thing. Like if like that tiny root thing going into this big thing basically would just be way too weird. So I think with Weepinbell in there, it kind of makes it like easier to see how Bellsprout could turn into a Victreebel because Bellsprout's really tiny, Victreebel's really big with a very complex design, and Bellsprout is the opposite. Graveler, D tier. Not only its Kanto design, but the fact that it's a Alolan shiny looks like a chunk of poo with corn in it. I don't know what to think about Magneton. I'll give it B tier, I guess. I like Magnemite better. Next up we have Haunter, S tier. Like the entire Haunter line, the Ghastly line, is just Ghastly is adorable, Haunter is cool, and Gengar is adorable. I have nothing else to say. Here we have Mr. Mime. Now, hear me out. You may be thinking, but Pogo, Mr. Mime is in a middle evolution, but I am still technically considering the fact that he is, because Mime Jr. evolved into Kanto Mr. Mime, but Galarian Mr. Mime doesn't have a Galarian Mime Jr., but evolves into Mr. Rhyme. So, I am putting it in A tier, because like I am not the biggest fan of its design. It's not S tier, but I like it. I like the idea of a mime Pokemon. This is just my opinion, putting it in the list at all. Next we have Electabuzz. I am not a fan of those like alien little horn alien things on its head that make it look like an alien. I do like that it has like a little tiger tail, but I don't like the fact that it's standing on 2 feet. So I'm going to give it C tier with Pikachu, Nidorino, and Charmeleon. Next, we have our Fire Duck Magmar. It's better than Electabuzz, so I will give it B tier. The final Pokemon on this list is Dragonair, and I am giving it, above S. I love Dragonair. It is so majestic. It has a beautiful shiny. It's adorable. Everything about Dragonair is absolutely perfect. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. This was actually pretty fun to make. The reason my voice is so low is because I'm currently standing inside of the bathroom of a karate school and a class is going on and I don't want to disturb the teacher. Also note, please don't comment anything against my ratings because this isn't my opinion. I didn't put any research into the ratings of these Pokemon. I just did this video for fun. And I put these things in the tier list based on my opinion. You could love one Pokemon that I put in D tier, which happens to only be 1 or 2 actually. But a cool thing about the Kanto region is the fact that there's not a lot of bad middle evolutions in the Kanto region necessarily, nor in the Johto region. I think it's Hoenn region when it starts because then we have Pokemon like Kambuzikin and Marshtomp that look, and to my opinion, terrible. I mean, I said in the intro, absolutely horrendous. So that's all from me. I will see you next time in the next full video that isn't a silent animation that I made on Flip-A-Clip.